on my chest. It was you. It was you. Don't even think about reaching me. I won't be home. Don't even think about stopping by. Don't think of me at all. Oh, I did what I had to do. And if there was a reason, it was you. Footsteps in a hole. It was you. You. Oh, pictures on my chest. It was you. It was you. Don't even think about reaching me. I won't be home. Don't even think about stopping by. Don't think of me at all. I did what I had to do. And if there was a reason, it was you. Footsteps in the hole. It was you. You. Pictures on my chest. It was you. You. Welcome to another episode of the apocalypse. And congratulations for choosing the apocalypse. I commend you for being so bold. But it was an unwise decision, so you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guide, and I'm very tired and very ill. But I push onward. Because if I don't, the man will have my head. And I will have no excuses for my treachery. For I am not nailed to a cross. I wasn't beaten for preaching the word. I'm not in a death camp. So I must tarry on. Let us begin. Head of the IRS being ousted amid Treasury's power struggle with Leon scum. What is this? Leon picked the head of the IRS. Bessent found out about it, the head of the Treasury. And Donnie found out about it. They got pissed off as if Leon's, telling Donnie to go get his shine box. You know what I mean? And they're trying to, distance themselves from Leon a little bit, but he's not going nowhere. Don't be fooled. So Leon, exercised the full authority of the beast and picked the head of the IRS. Just like he's picked so many other heads. How many Doge people are heads of departments right now? That was Leon, in case you didn't know. So Leon picked the head of the IRS, and Bessent and Donnie got pissed, and they shit-canned him. And they're going to pick who they want. So Leon, I should save it for a surprise, but no, I'm going to tell you. Leon, at the end of the day, unfollowed Bessent. So that's how you know it's a real cat fight. Between bitches. That Leon unfollowed the person. That's what Leon does in his 12-year-old world. I'm going to unfollow you, even though we're both integral parts of the Reich. I'm still going to unfollow you because I just never matured past 12, damn it. And I prove that minutely, not hourly, minutely. Rubio says to decide in days if end to Ukraine war is doable. Rubio says U.S. to decide in days if end to Ukraine war is doable. What does that mean? You give Ukraine an ultimatum. Like, in other words, Vlad gets whatever he wants, guys, and we get all your minerals, and you guys surrender, okay? Is that cool? And Vlad gets like 1/3 of your territory, all the good parts with the oil and minerals on it. And you get jack shit. Is that cool? And then when Ukraine says fuck off, oh, well, Ukraine, they're horrible people. We tried. No, you didn't try. There's a reason they call him Donnie Krasnov. There's a reason Vlad leaked that Krasnov information. There were other ex-KGB agents that said Donnie was an asset since the 80s. That news is not new. The Krasnov thing is new. How do I know it's real? One of the things, Donnie does not speak of it. No one speaks of Krasnov. But everyone knows he's Donnie Krasnov. And if you didn't know, Krasnov is a Russian traitor. Krasnov is a person that the Russians consider a traitor to the motherland, fatherland, whatever they call it, Mother Russia. I just simply Wikipedia'd Krasnov, right? Google search Krasnov. Wikipedia comes right up. I hear all kind of people giving all kind of explanations for what Krasnov means. It means fucking traitor. That's what it means. Because that's what Donnie is. And that's what he's been since 87 as Krasnov. That's what they called him behind his fucking back. Because he was being a Judas to his country. And he's doing it right now again. And you gave him the keys to do it. So that's how I know, again, you people that have your name on this, you don't believe in anything. You don't care about your country. You just gave it to Vlad. You know Donnie Krasnov is Donnie Krasnov. You knew it ahead of time. It's not a secret. Said Russia, if you're listening, like the first month, 10 years ago. You just swept that to the side. Him asking our enemy for help to win an election. Anything to get your team to win, right? Work with the devil even. In fact, you literally are this time. That's the crazy thing about this moment. You've literally signed your name on the devil's, I don't know, what do you call that? Contact list. That's what you've done this time. You've been doing it your whole life, voting for evil, putting your name on evil. You've been doing it your whole, but this time, the literal devil and his prince, that would be Donnie, and his other one, that would be Leon. You've literally signed your name next to the devil's name. That's how far you've taken it. The Antichrist himself. That's incredible to me. And again, I'm not asking anyone to believe anything. Because I know as this proceeds, more and more people will just believe. They're going to see some shit they never thought possible. Even as they voted for it, put their name on it, helped create it, they still don't fathom what they've done. I'm talking all the way up to Roger Stone and shit. They still don't fathom what they've done. They will by the end. And all you people laughing, cracking jokes, worrying about, I don't know, your date next week, whatever. It's all going to come crashing. You're going to get a slap in the face when reality slaps you. And you say, oh shit, this signing my name to evil my whole life. Now the bill's due. Fuck. I never thought the bill would be due. I thought again, this evil I was putting forth, putting my name on, would only hurt the people I wanted it to. You've learned that for 10 years that that's not the truth, yet you still try by putting your name on it again. That's incredible to me. That kind of willful ignorance is incredible to me. Dang it, I'm going to sign my name next to the devil just to own them libs. I don't care. Who set that fire? Is that a liberal that set that fire in my house? Or was that a Republican who set that fire? Because if it was a Republican, with my family inside, I got to let it burn. And tell the world how great it is as it burns. That is your existence. Not necessarily with the Southern accent, but you get the point. So this Ukraine thing, Donnie Krasnov, he never wanted to help Ukraine. That was obvious from day one. It was obvious when he tried to extort Ukraine back in his first term, which he got impeached for. He didn't get removed, but he got impeached. This is what I take away from what Rubio's saying here and the message the Reich's trying to put out. We're going to pretend like we're coming to the table one more time. And when Ukraine tells us to fuck off, when we tell them, just let Vlad have whatever he wants and give us your minerals. When you tell us to fuck off, we're going to use that as the excuse to finally walk away from the table. And, maybe offer Vlad some U.S. troops or U.S. weapons or something. I'm thinking it may even go that far. Who knows? I wouldn't put anything past Donnie Krasnov and his ability for treachery. He's betraying every one of us, every breath he takes. And again, you gave him the keys. You're being set up, you're being dismantled, you're being looted, you're being set up for a hard ass fall. And it's fucking obvious. FSU shooter Phoenix Eichner was known for pushing white supremacist rhetoric and far-right rhetoric, and once stated Rosa Parks was in the wrong. Eichner was expelled from a political group at Tallahassee State College for his views. I don't just read these things to you people. I make sure this is accurate before I read it to you. I've looked at some of his social media. Yeah, he was a MAGA. He was a Donnie person. Let's not debate it. Save some of your dignity as you deny reality on a daily basis. Let's not deny reality here. This dude was a MAGA, and there's many ties with his social media to that world. So again, we had a Leon cultist, the next startup bro who kind of worshiped Leon, shoot a CEO on a sidewalk. We have this guy here, total MAGA guy, son of a police officer, straight up MAGA inspired shooter who's into white supremacy and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just giving you the basics of him. We don't need to read 3 hours of details about that cretin. It's not necessary. He's one of, 1,000, white supremacist type right-wing shooters we've had in this country. And let's be honest, most of the shooters are right-wing. Not all. Most of the shooters are right-wing. Let's be honest about it, people. Let's not deny reality. I know there's a few here and there that lean liberal. Most of them, though, we all know this. They, Second Amendment Republican type people. Now we've got the maximum expression of that, the MAGA cult, the culmination of all that evil. And the result is this kid here, again, when Nazi ideology, white supremacism, white nationalism, when that is promoted, kids like him think it's okay. He was also associated with Charlie Kirk in kind of a loose way. He was in that world. So when these ideas get promoted, and Leon's a Nazi, the shooter that worshipped him may have believed those beliefs as well. I'm not sure. The shooter in this case was an obvious white supremacist type. So when we allow, as a society, this Nazi ideology, this ideology of white supremacists says right supremacism, white nationalism. The result is kids like him. And it only takes one of him to kill a bunch of fucking people, especially in America where you can get an AK or what's that rifle you guys love so much that's designed for killing quickly humans. That's all it's designed for. The AR-15. Um, that's usually the weapon of choice. And, you know, you can get that in America with, I don't know, an 80 round clip. And it's a gun made for straight up war. It ain't made for hunting, nothing else. That debate's a joke. And it's the gun of choice for mass shooters. Why, as a society, are we allowing this gun to remain in the hands of the public? Again, there's plenty of other guns people can play with. Why do we leave the one that mass shooters use to kill people's children in schools? That even police are afraid to take on. That's pure idiocy. I don't care what political party you believe in, trust, agree with. That is idiocy, no matter what lens you're looking at it through. There is no way to justify it. I'm sorry. It's just evil. Watching kids get slaughtered by this specific gun over and over again, and we not only do nothing, we go the other way and say how great the gun is and that we can have it. And we get all mad about it. I don't even have children. And that issue concerns me. Why doesn't it concern you? Anyway, let's move on. A deadly E. coli outbreak hit 15 states, but the FDA chose not to publicize it. Again, this new culture of fuck any of these emergency services that we have, scientists, etc., Ebola response teams, fuck it, we don't need any of it. Leon and Donnie are grifting, and everything's a worthy sacrifice for the grift, including shit like this culture of E. coli breakouts, and no one says jack shit. That could be you getting that E. coli, son. Do you realize that? The next restaurant you go to, business, does anybody care? So when we lower standards, on top of already not caring, people that get paid nothing to work in these restaurants that we all order from, that could be you getting that E. coli or something else. That's why we need these standards in this country. That's why it's not funny when these people all lose their jobs. Let's read a little detail just quickly. The outbreak linked to romaine lettuce killed one person and sickened at least 88 more, including a 9-year-old boy who nearly died of kidney failure. Damn, that's pretty serious, something that shuts down your fucking kidneys. You dead if that happens. 88 people and a kid almost died, and one person died. That could be you as you're clapping like a seal for this new culture, this new idea of let Leon and Donnie loot all our money from all the agencies as we all suffer the measles outbreaks, the fucking E. coli, the hurricane that we don't see coming, the tornado we don't see coming, because everybody thought it was a good idea to let Leon and Donnie steal all the money and fire everybody. How anyone is applauding this, again, you're so brainwashed, so lost, as you applaud, as the same way, I don't know, who was it? Nero was fiddling as Rome burns, whatever fucked up satanic ass Caesar it was, I can't even remember. You're clapping like a seal as your nation goes away. It's, again, astounding to watch. So many of us out here always wondered how 1939 Germany happened, how the people of Germany chose a fucking jailbird who tried to overthrow the government ahead of time for elected office. Donnie, the same thing, should be a jailbird, tried to overthrow the government. You elect him again. Well, that's how 1939 Germany happened. And now we're going to have the maximum expression of that as well because of your actions. Again, the Leon Nazi salute, that wasn't for nothing, son. That should tell everyone that's wondering, that has an idea, that has an opinion, that has a thesis on what's going on in our world. That one moment, Leon doing that Nazi salute, should tell everyone here, everyone out in the world, what this is about. It's about that salute. That's what it's about. It's also about some weird science fiction writer, scientist, Nazi scientist. These guys all worship Nazi scientists for some fucking reason. About, techno-oligarchy, no borders. Donnie let it slip in the White House. We need open borders. You guys totally missed that, didn't you? Even though I read it to you on camera. We need open borders. And then he realized, oh shit, I fucked up. Let the plan slip. Let me start talking about China real quick. We need open borders. It ain't Nikki saying that, not me. That's your orange messiah, Donnie, saying that. And I know what he means. I know when a multi-billionaire, anyone, Donnie, any of them, when they say we need open borders, when they intimate that, that's because they want that cheap labor from wherever they can fucking get it as we all starve. That's what the open borders, altruistic policy of billionaires is about. Oh, well, we can pick where from a labor pool of third world peasants, and the Americans that have lived here for a couple centuries and expect a certain wage, well, they can all starve to death. Fuck them. That's what the open borders oligarch utopia is about, son, in case you didn't know. It's not about brotherhood or kumbaya or any of that bullshit. That's why Donnie let it slip. He realized he fucked up because he knows you rubes hate that open borders idea. But that's the idea they want. That's what the Reich wants. These people that you put in office. They want no border with Canada, no border with Mexico. They pull a labor pool from the cheapest, most third world impoverished, peasants that'll take 50 cents an hour. That's the open borders policy, oligarch, Nazi, technocracy utopia. And these are all sociopaths, and none of them progressed past age 12 mentally. Why? Because they didn't have to. They made Nazism a religion, and they worship Satan as well. This is an element of it, a serious element, and that's something people should notice. There's a reason these people worship that certain entity. What does that mean that they take this Lucifer, Satan person so seriously? What does that mean? That means they know there's a God, and they don't choose that God, they choose the other thing. And they believe it with all their might. You can't not be that and be a Nazi, whether you even realize it or not. But these guys, they realize it. That's why you get goats with $100 bills with Donnie's name instead of God. That's why you get gold statues on Gaza, on the Holy Land, in commercials. These people know what they're doing. They've made a choice. That's why they have what they have. If they start being nice guys and giving all their money to the poor, they don't get to be what they are anymore. They made a deal. And they sticking to it. Till the motherfucking end. And we're all going to have to suffer them. Why? Because you gave them the keys. It took a few decades, but you gave them the keys. Speaking of all that spiritual stuff, my favorite Bible story is probably the one where Jesus disappears an innocent person into a slave labor gulag and then jets off for a weekend of golf at Galilea Lago. Yeah, that's my favorite part of scripture too. Very Christ-like, right? And remember, golf at Galilea Lago, we're paying for it. Donnie goes to his own clubs, spends millions per weekend. or every 2 weeks it racks up millions in bills, because I'm sure he's charging us, quadruple the fucking rates. The whole entourage of Secret Service, etc., that has to be there protecting him and any aides or whatever. The whole entourage, baby, you footing the bill as Jesus goes and golfs every weekend. And then that money goes right in Jesus's pocket. That's orange Jesus, though, not the real Jesus. So Donnie goes to his own clubs and pockets your money. Totally legit. And because it's on your team, it's okay, right? You would have been totally cool with Joe Biden going to his own hotels that he owns, even though Joe don't own any. Let's say he did. You would be cool with Biden going every weekend, sometime 4-day weekend, whatever, 3-day. Golf with his whole entourage at his club on your dime. I'm sure you guys will be fine with that, right? You're not hypocrites at all. I know. No, you'd lose your damn mind over that. You'd be talking impeachment if Joe was golfing on your dime at his own clubs every weekend without fail, because you believe in nothing. One more time, because this is really poignant. By a guy named Jeff Tiedrick. He's a writer and he has a Substack. Very clever guy with words. My favorite Bible story is probably the one where Jesus disappears an innocent person into a slave labor gulag and then jets off for a weekend of golf at Galileo Lago, which he owns, and then pockets your money. And the Rubes cheer for this. This is the state of our reality, son. That's why I'm on camera at 1 a.m. when I'm dead fucking tired and ill. This is the reality we're living in, where certain cunts in America are clapping like seals for gulags, and then they talking about U.S. citizens in the joint going there. And a lot of you Rubes, let's be honest, a lot of you got records. A lot of you, some of you are in prison right now. That could be you, son. Guess what the next step after American citizens in prison is? American citizens not in prison. You. That's the next step. They walking you right into it, and you clapping like a seal as it's happening. It's amazing to watch. 1939 Germany happening all over again. It's amazing to watch. Death camps, people arguing in favor of American citizens going to death camps in El Salvador. You've so lost your way, son, if you're talking this up in any kind of way. Students familiar with FSU shooter describe him as a white supremacist and fascist who advocated for President Trump's agenda. Yes, he's a MAGA guy. He's wearing the hat right there. Check him out. They'll wear a mark on their foreheads. A certain story talks about that. A mark on your forehead. I'm not saying that's the mark, but, it's convenient. Could be an aspect. It's, they say, it can go on or in your hand or on your forehead. And I've heard all the theological arguments for, no, it's a spiritual thing inside. No, son, it's a mark. It's a mark. Like the one he's wearing on his head. But this ain't the real shit. We're going to get to the real shit. Sue, don't worry. It'll happen. But don't worry, you can't be tricked into it. Always remember that. You're going to know exactly what you're doing when you do it. And we go in there, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, people, I get no joy out of this. I'm just saying, I'm your guide. I'm warning you, we're going there. I'm guiding you. But I'm also telling you, they can't trick you into doing it. Everyone will know exactly what they're doing when they do it. There will be no excuses, son. I'm very sorry. You're actually going to have to make a real choice that has real consequences and really stand for something or not stand for something. And it will define the rest of your existence in this plane and the next. That's what's going to happen. I'm your guide. I'm letting you know in advance. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. next year, year after, 3 months from now. But it will happen, and you can't be tricked. You'll know what you're doing. So be prepared. Great news. Mack Trucks has announced layoffs at Lehigh Valley, PA plant due to Trump's tariffs. I wonder how many of these guys voted Donnie. But, I don't like to see truckers get laid off. Mack Trucks will lay off between 250 and 350 workers at its Lehigh Valley Operations Center outside Allentown due to economic uncertainty caused by U.S. tariffs, a company spokesperson said. So directly tying it to Donnie's tariffs, the 350 layoffs at Mack Trucks. If you just would have voted for the black lady, I don't know, maybe you'd gotten a raise instead of a layoff, because she wouldn't have fucked with the economy like Don. In other words, she wouldn't have used the economy as a grift to make herself trillions of dollars while you get laid off. No, that wasn't her platform. Her platform was not tariffs. That was Donnie's platform. More people losing their job. How many government workers lost their job? How many people got shipped to a fucking death camp? If only they would have voted for the black lady, everything would still be fine. According to a former acquaintance of the Florida State University shooter, he was kicked out of a political club at a previous university and was an active member of Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk needs to be sent to El Salvador. Blood is on his hands. Okay, so Charlie Kirk is the guy, I guess, that handles Turning Point USA. I think a lot of people know who Charlie Potato Head Kirk is. This guy, was involved with him in a roundabout, way. He was into that world. That's all I'm trying to show you here. What world he was in, because I want the truth to be known. You will hear lies. Every time a shooting, you get the Republican operatives right out on social media saying, he donated to a Democrat in 1987. Then when we look, it's a different person that didn't donate or that donated the money to the Democrat, not the person. That's how you people operate. We don't operate that way. I'm just trying to show you the truth. That's all. The truth is, he was a MAGA dude. I'm not saying every shooter is a MAGA dude, but I'd say about 98% of them are, unfortunately, for you guys. That tells you what side you're on. Marco Rubio, or Little Marco, says if no progress is made in Ukraine-Russia negotiations in a matter of days, America will move on. Well, America moved on back in November when Donnie won the election, and everybody knew what it meant for Ukraine. And he's pretty much carried that whole charade out of pretending like we still want to help them. No, Donnie wants to help Vlad. That's obvious. He's Donnie Krasnov. Vlad and his people leaked it. They let us know that, yes, we own you now. That was our traitor since the 80s. Ha, 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 ha. That's why that was leaked and allowed to be revealed when it was. Donnie Krasnov. Again, Krasnov was a Russian traitor. That's why they called Donald Trump Krasnov. A 2-second Google search, you can read all about the man Krasnov from Russia who's the traitor. I knew exactly second I read it. That's what the Russians are talking about when they use the word Krasnov for Donnie. That person right there. Right in Wikipedia. I know how the Russians think and things like that. Snitches, turncoats, and to a lot of circles, a turncoat is never really trusted or respected. They're used for information and help. Behind their back, they're shit talked. Fucking traitor. We can't trust him. He betrayed his own people, his own country. He's a piece of shit. We just need the info until we don't need him no more. And then, maybe something happens to him or something. Tucson lawyer Pamela Riolas Saeed received a notice from the Department of Homeland Security telling her she has 7 days to leave the country. Saeed is an American citizen who was born in Boston. Your thoughts? Let me show you a picture of this woman because I know by the name you probably have a certain image in your head of what she looks like. This is what she looks like. So that woman who is a U.S. citizen got a letter to leave the country. Yes, this is a Reich. Yes, Donnie's the beast. And that's how out of hand they are. They literally send in letters to, some of them are U.S. citizens. This isn't the first one I've seen. This is the one I'm choosing to represent to you people. I've seen a bunch of these lawyers in immigration and different things getting letters saying leave the fucking country when they're U.S. citizens. She's not the first. She's not the only one. I'm just using her as an example. This is how out of control these fucks are. They just send in letters to any damn body. Get the fuck out the country or we're going to grab you. This is an excuse to come throw you in a fucking van later. We told you to get out of the country. I'm a U.S. citizen, asshole. What do you mean? What they mean is it's a softening up. It's a preparation for them sending vans out for whoever they feel like. Whatever journalists talk shit. Guy on YouTube talking shit. This woman, whatever. That's where it's going. I mean, hey, U.S. citizens are getting fucking letters to leave the country. The fuck? Here's more about truckers. Many truckers I've spoken with don't realize how quickly container volumes have collapsed. Starting in May, port freight out of California will be almost eliminated. It's going to be a bloodbath in dray, followed by intermodal, and then a collapse in I-20 and I-40 trucking. May 2020 had 51 shipments blank sailings, over 80 so far in April 2025. COVID will look like good times. I'm not an expert on containers and trucking. These people sound like they are, though. This sounds real fucking bad. And it makes sense. If there's no fucking containers at the port, there's nothing to deliver, right? Which means truckers don't work, right? Rubes? Because a lot you, let's be honest, a lot you are truckers. You MAGA 100%, whatever, I don't care. My point is, you may have voted in a bloodbath for your personal career. In fact, I know you have. They laying off 350 at Mack Trucks. This person's saying container volumes have collapsed. So it takes a little minute for that to catch up with the supply chain, I guess, once, the current supply of stuff, the majority of it is bought, and you don't have as many trucks delivering as much stuff. Does that mean shortages for everybody? Because that's what it sounds like to me. This does not sound fucking good, man. And it makes sense because everything comes from China, right? And a lot of shit goes out to China. Since Canada, we told Canada to fuck off. They were a major trading partner for lumber and oil, two very important things, and a lot of other things. So now we really need China, and Donnie's telling them to fuck off with 250% tariffs. So, of course, there's going to be less containers coming because they all come from fucking China, right? A good amount. It sounds really fucking bad. That's why I read it to you. I wouldn't otherwise. I'm not really big into trucking news, but it kind of coincides with all that's going on. Donnie's got, 250% tariffs against China. Of course, containers are going to go down. No, who wants to ship anything right now and pay some crazy ass Tariff bill. Nobody. I don't know. All this is really feeling intentional. I mean, no one's this much of a fuck up. It's not all about the grift. There's an intention to, again, dismantle, loot, ruin, weaken, make vulnerable. For what, I ask? Probably an attack of some sort that they'll just sit back and let happen. You know, like January 6th, Donnie and the family were eating hot wings, watching it on TV when they should have been sending the National Guard in 3 seconds, ending the whole thing. But Donnie didn't want it to be unsuccessful. He wanted it to be successful and start his dictatorship then. He had to wait 4 years because people are stupid. And after they watched on television this person try and overthrow their government, they said, I put the traitor back in. We don't care about, our president being a true patriot. We just care that the R person wins. That's why you don't have a country anymore. Busy night for the courts. Late last night, a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction barring Doge's access to sensitive social security data, saying the government flouted the law to provide unfettered access to Doge without a reasonable basis. Yeah, these rulings are a bit late to the party. These rulings against Doge taking information. Look, they've had every department's information, including classified, for over a month now. All of it. It's never coming back. Backdoors were installed. It's been proven now that information's being shared with the Russians. They had the login, they had the passwords, everything, 15 minutes after Doge was in the system. So what I'm trying to say is that ship has sailed. I applaud these judges' efforts, though. But they've already gotten in. Their AI is in the system. Their backdoors implanted. Their access information shared. The cat's long been out the bag. The ship has long sailed, but I applaud the judge's effort for trying. A federal judge in Massachusetts grants a preliminary injunction blocking the Trump administration from deporting people to third countries without telling them where they're going and allowing them to raise fears of persecution or torture. I guess that means you're allowed to use that as an argument against deportation, that I may be persecuted, tortured, killed if I go back there. I'm a refugee. So there's an injunction against that. Will Donnie listen to any of it? Probably not. We'll talk more about that. I think this is Mr. Zelensky talking. I think that Mr. Witkoff has taken the strategy of the Russian side. I think it's really dangerous because consciously or unconsciously, he is disseminating Russian narratives. Is Witkoff the one that was literally sitting in the Kremlin or in Moscow during the Signal app chat with the reporter? Is that who Witkoff is? I get my traders confused sometimes. I know there was another guy involved. I think that's Witkoff. I think he was the one. The face looks familiar. Yeah, I think he was the one sitting literally probably right next to Vlad during the Signal app chat. So Zelensky is being kind here. Witkoff is an abject, bloody fucking traitor, okay? Zelensky's being very kind. But I'll speak for him because I know he can't. He's got to be diplomatic. I get it. He's doing what he needs to do for his people, and I can respect that. Here's a reporter asking Donnie some shit. Rubio said that the U.S. will have to figure out whether a deal can be done between Russia and Ukraine. How many days is that? Trump, no specific number of days, but quickly. Trump said he'd end the war on day one. MAGA believed him. Anyway, so this statement right here, he went on for a while after he said, no specific number of days. And eventually he got to the crescendo of the abomination or the blasphemy, where he said he blamed it on, he said that They're basically, we're going to come to the table one more time with Ukraine and Russia. And if one side isn't too nice in the negotiation, then we're going to say you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to walk away. The title of this live stream tonight came straight out of Donnie Krasnoff's mouth. That's where I got it from. Since you guys love Donnie Krasnoff so much. You're fools, you're being foolish, you're horrible people, and we're walking away. Who do you think he was talking about when he said that? Do you think he was talking about Vlad and Russia in that manner? With that bass in his voice? Absolutely damn not. We've never heard him talk tough on Russia once in 10 years. We know he's Donnie Krasnov. We know he's Vlad's bitch. So when he says, if one side's not going to be, cooperative, they're going to be nasty at the negotiating table, we know who he's talking about. He's talking about Ukraine. They're talking about Rubio and him are talking about walking away from Ukraine. And they're going to use this next few days as an excuse to do it, to where he'll fully reveal himself as Donnie Krasnov and just straight up join Vlad in the fight or something. But at the very least, he's going to walk away and not provide any more aid for Ukraine. And I never expected any more. I think Europe should really start filling in the gap for the U.S. And Europe, again, gave more money and more weapons than the United States did prior, despite Donnie Krasnov's lies. So again, these people are fighting for their lives against a demon named Vlad Putin, getting murdered every fucking day. And they got fucking Donnie Krasnov, Vlad's bitch, orange bitch, calling them fools, foolish, and horrible people for not agreeing to what Vlad and Donnie want to slice up, how they want to slice up the Ukrainian pie for themselves. I told you, blasphemies, abominations, spoken for over 1,200 days straight. Donnie's right on point every day. He made a comment about Carter again today, that Carter wasn't the worst president because of Joe Biden. The dead president, Carter, you know that he disrespected by raising the flag back up to full mast on Inauguration Day, when it was supposed to be at half. For a true Christian, a good man, Jimmy Carter. And how do I know Jimmy Carter is a good, true Christian and a good man? He didn't turn into an oligarch. He lived like a kind of humble existence. The guy was helping to build houses for people as an act of charity up into his fucking 80s. That's how I know he's a good man. And he's everything Donnie never was and never will be. So Mr. Carter deserved that respect on Inauguration Day, and he deserved that flag at half-mast. And again, people, if let me put it in terms the cult will understand. If Donnie dies and the next president has his inauguration, and Donnie's death just happens to coincide with that inauguration, falls within the window to where the flag should be at half-mast, and the Democrat president, fuck Donnie Krasnov, he was a fucking traitor anyway, I'm going to put the flag at full mast because it's my day, baby. It's about me, Donnie Krasnov, or Democrat Krasnov. How would you feel about that? You'd be pretty upset, right? Well, for me, it really doesn't matter the party so much. It's just a respect thing that we do for the president of the United States when he dies. And it doesn't matter if that death falls within the window of a person's inauguration. It's not about that. It's about the deceased ex-president getting a little bit of respect from his nation and the government and flying the flags at half-mast. And really, during your inauguration, who cares if the flag is at half or full? Who gives a shit? You won the presidency. You should be happy. You're worried about the flag being at half or full? Just leave it wherever it's supposed to be. How about that? No, that's too much for Donnie Krasnov. So yeah, he brought up the Carter joke he has told, multiple times. That same old tired joke that Carter, first of all, Carter wasn't even close to the worst president. As far as performance, Donnie's up there with like Herbert Hoover, which is like the worst of the fucking worst as far as Great Depression, all the suffering for the American people. Donnie going to take us back to that, though, probably. Because as far as I'm concerned, Herbert Hoover, George Bush Jr., and Donnie Krasnoff are probably the three worst in modern history. And Donnie isn't even finished yet. Wait till you see where he takes us. But Hoover, my God, anything but give money to the people, man. People in fucking bread lines. Meanwhile, he fat as fuck. So Donnie disrespected Carter again. He disrespected him on the inauguration day. And he just disrespected Ukrainians that are fighting for their life because they've been invaded by Donnie's owner, Vlad Putin. As these people are dying and getting utterly persecuted and murdered, Donnie has the nerve to, in a hypothetical future conversation where it's already planned out, they're telling you what they're going to do. He just didn't fill in the word Ukraine. In other words, when Ukraine doesn't agree to our extortion, we're walking away from the table. That's all Donnie said there. But he added that caveat or that insult. You're fools, you're foolish, you're horrible people. I couldn't fucking believe Donnie, the convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, traitor to his nation, Russian assets since 87. He's the one calling the Ukrainians fools, foolish, horrible people. Because he wouldn't dare say that about Vlad. We all know that. Incredible. Again, as much as I've seen of Donnie, he still manages to make my jaw drop on almost a daily basis by the literal abominable thing he is. I don't even understand how something could be that abominable. And it's just, it's hourly with him. That's why he's the beast. That's why I know he's the beast. I've never seen anything like it. Leon is a close second to that same being. That's why he's beast number 2. And I know he is. I've never seen anything like these people. I've never seen such crookedness, such evil, such desire to ruin people's lives who have nothing when they have everything and they still want more. Because they won't feel good about themselves unless they subjugate the entire planet and exterminate whoever they feel like. That's the big divine mission in the religion of Nazism that they've made. Tesla speeds up odometers to avoid warranty repairs, U.S. lawsuit claims. Tesla faces a proposed class action claiming it speeds up odometers on its electric vehicles so they fall out of warranty faster, saving Leon Scum's company from having to pay for repairs. When I read this, I'm like, Leon, there is no depths that thing will not sink to. What is this an indicator or indicative of? A company that is desperate as fuck financially. Again, I told you, the only thing keeping Tesla afloat is welfare. Nothing else. And it's not even afloat. They lose the money hand over fucking fist. When you speeding up odometers so you don't have to do warranty repair, that means you are desperately broke as a company. And you're getting creative on ripping people off. Not only that, you're also admitting, you're telling the whole world when you get caught doing this. We build a low quality product and we know it and we sell it to you anyway. And we know you're going to come back with warranty defects. And you know what? We're going to scam you out of not covering that. Even though we promise the moon and the stars when you're at the dealership, I'm sure. Then all of a sudden it's like, damn, I thought I only drove it 3,000 miles. It says 30,000. And that's what Doge does. They don't just add like 1,000. Doge wouldn't add 1,000 or something to a savings number. They add like 800 million to a savings number. So again, you'll get the car, you'll have it for a month, maybe go on a few trips, you put like 3,000 miles on it, you do a bit of driving. Next thing you know, you wake up the next morning, it says 30,000. How the fuck did that happen? Leon, again, I tell you people, Leon is beast number 2. Donnie's a beast. This is how I know. Shit like this. I've never seen such naked, unabashed frauds before. And they got advice for everybody else. Everybody else is horrible. Everybody else is mean. Meanwhile, Donnie and Leon are pulling scams like this. I mean, when I read this, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, this is a thing? Oh, well, it's an electric car. It's like fully computerized. Of course they could do this. No problem. Unfucking believable. Just like Doge can access the computer system, and then 15 minutes later, just, coincidentally, the Russians got the full login info, and they're trying to log in. And they try to tell us they didn't know. No, they knew. They gave them the info. There's no other way to explain that, son. 15 minutes later, the Russians are attempting to access a system, a government system, with perfect, correct login information. 15 minutes after the Doge cunts were in there. No other explanation. That's why the guy got the death threats, got the stalking, got the surveillance, and he's got the evidence of it. Oof. Oh, Donnie picked up, he had Carolyn Levitt or Skeletor go get his note that he wrote himself. It was weird. Watch Carolyn Levitt hand Trump a note because he doesn't know why Garcia's record is unbelievably bad. And Trump reads. Now, before he did this, he said, Carolyn, can you go get that note off my desk that I wrote earlier? But wait till you see what he says. Abrego Garcia, is that the one? He's an illegal alien, MS-13 gang member, and foreign terrorist. He's none of those things. No judge has ever said that. Only the Reich. Now, Donnie says that. I guess that's written on the paper that he wrote. He said it. He said he wrote it. Can you get that paper I was writing on earlier? She brings it. He says that. Reads the false allegations. And then he says this. Very legitimate sources, I assume. I'm reading. I'm just giving you what they handed me. But this was supposed to be certified stuff. Do you see what he's doing? First, he repeats the allegations made by the Reich and him. And then he acts like he has nothing to do with it. And, they just handed me this. No, Donnie, you literally just said you were writing this paper out earlier. Then he literally, after he makes the false allegations, the defamation, then he covers his ass legally. Again, throws them all right under the fucking bus. The whole Reich, when everybody knows it's his idea. Very legitimate sources, I assume. I'm reading. I'm just giving you what they handed me. I mean, who am I? I'm only the Fuhrer. What the fuck? Why would I be behind this? But this was supposed to be certified stuff. So what does that tell? That tells you Donnie knows he's lying. He's telling you he's lying in advance. And if the lie comes back to bite him in the ass through a defamation judgment or something, well, they just handed me the paper that I wrote myself earlier. I had nothing to do with it. They said this was certified, guaranteed, verified info. It's not my fault. No, it's totally his fault. He just made the fucking allegations. He said he wrote the shit on the paper earlier. He asked Miss Levitt to go get it. Then he covers his ass legally at the end and throws everybody under the fucking bus. It's astounding. In 2 breaths, he did this. My God. And what have I been saying again for 10 years? He throws everybody under the bus. Everybody. Guess who falls under the category of everybody? You do. The Rubes, who have their name on this. Again, I just read it to you. And there's video of it. You can watch it. I don't even know what more to say about that. He just threw everybody right the fuck under the bus after he read allegations he wrote down on paper. It's astounding. Siggy time. And then I'll get back to it. Gary Shapley, acting commissioner of the IRS, is being replaced after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent approached Trump to say that Shapley was appointed without his knowledge and at Leon Scum's direction. So Bessent and Donnie got pissed that this Shapley guy got appointed by Leon, so they shit-canned him. So there's a little trouble in paradise, but don't worry, Leon's not going anywhere. I told you that. They'll act like Leon's somewhere else, but look, he's still appointing IRS, commissioners and shit, so he didn't go nowhere. He's going to get his money worth, and he's there to watch him for Vlad as well, not just for his own good. So a little bit of a catfight between Bessent and Leon, and the IRS head is out, and I guess Bessent will pick a new one. All right, again, people, I told you yesterday about some very serious allegations being made against JD, the couchfucker Vance. These allegations are still up. They're still getting views. There's no lawsuit. There's no talk of them by JD. I'm starting to lean towards belief. Because, man, he's some serious allegations here. Now, let's see where it's at now. Over 28 million views, over 24,000 retweets, over 293,000 likes, over 37,000 bookmarks. Thank you. And I'm still waiting for my community note. There won't be one because it's my word against his, and my word actually means something. And my lawsuit from J.D. Vance, there won't be one. Now, again, this isn't a nobody here. This is a person with a following. They've done reporting. Again, their post got 28 million views. So people know about this guy. He's not some random hack. 28 million views. He's saying JD is a fucking pedo. And that's why he had to change his name 3 times, and that he has witnesses. Again, an earlier post, you changed your name 3 times because you kept getting caught raping children in the Ohio Valley, and I have witnesses who can and will testify against you on this. I cannot wait to put you in prison for the rest of your life, and it goes on a little bit. Again, this is a person with a following that does reporting, that has sources. 28 million views. They say in JD raped children, and that's why he had to change his name and keep moving. And there's no lawsuit. Remember all the crazy things, allegations I made against people over the years? Rich people, certain people. No lawsuits. Ever. No cease and desists. And, people that don't know me, don't get fooled. There were videos of mine that got 50,000 views. There's an old video of a Tom Grant interview I did, 58,000 views. That should have way more, but whatever. That's just an example. In other words, this was a big thing at one time. This guy you see sitting here. I made some pretty big allegations against certain people. Not one cease and desist ever. Allegations almost as big as this one. Maybe in some ways they are as big as this one that this person's making. But has a much bigger following than I ever had. No lawsuits, no cease and desists, 28 million views. What does that tell you, son? What does it tell you that I never got a cease and desist? What does it tell you that the people that tried to label me a criminal are now adjudicated criminals? And I can point right to the cases. We don't have to name names, though, do we? They had no problem naming me, though, and putting that in front of thousands of people. Don't worry, it will be held against you. It's being held against you now. The Antichrist taking millions from you every second. And he's going to be back at your door again. I warned you. I begged you. You didn't listen. You're all wise. You all have so much money. You have executive offices. You have nice cars. You have mistresses. Mini mansions. You know better. Wait till you see what you've wrought, son. Wait till you see. Let's move on from the JD stuff. Lawyers for Venezuelan nationals say they're being loaded onto buses this hour in anticipation of a new wave of Alien Enemies Act deportations with less than 24 hours notice. They're asking Judge Boasberg for an immediate restraining order requiring 30 days notice. So Donnie and the boys, Miss Noam, others, are right back at it. Again, but the Supreme Court promised they get reasonable time. Remember that promise? I told you at the time that's a joke. That's not due process. Saying people get reasonable time in Texas. They ain't going to get reasonable time. They proved me right with this bullshit. They're just ready to ship a whole new group. They didn't give them shit for time. Why would they? No one's enforcing it. I told you, what's the Supreme Court going to go down to Texas and enforce this? Absolutely not. It was just a way, again, it was their, what's that guy's name? I can't even remember. Pontius Pilate moment. Oh, it's not us. It's the authorities in Texas. We'll just kick it on over to them. They have jurisdiction. But, you got to give them reasonable time. Again, Texas decides what reasonable time is. These people got 24 hours. Some got less. But this case is ongoing throughout the day. I'm giving you a sense of the day quickly. I went to El Salvador hoping to meet with Kilmar and check on his well-being. Oh, that's right. Senator Van Hollen gave his big press conference today and gave all the details about what Abrego Garcia told him, the conditions he had to face, everything. So some of the things Van Hollen said during the press conference, and I put it in the post section so you could watch the whole thing. There were government people at the interview. In other words, there were monitors for the dictatorship down there, for the Reich down there. They brought Abrego from another facility. They transferred Abrego from the CCOT death camp to a new facility. Why? Because we're all talking about Abrego every night, every day, all day on the news, on Twitter, here. That's why. They didn't want something to happen to him in case international, war crimes tribunals and shit like that happen. It's because there was public pressure this man's alive, and that's what I truly believe. It's the only reason he's alive. And then he got a little bit better treatment. What do I mean by that? Abrego said by roll call in the morning he could tell that there was roughly 100 men per cell in CCOT. And he said in his cell, though, there was only 25 men. But still, can you imagine living in a cell with 25 strangers, some of them criminals? How well do you think that's going to go for you? Not well. So Abrego was given special treatment, and it's obvious. And the only reason he was given special treatment by the dictator Bukele is because all of us are out here talking about it, and a senator went down, the whole thing. It's because Abrego's name is on all of our lips. That's the only fucking reason. So he got special treatment. He got kept in one of the safer cells with 25 people instead of 100, according to his testimony. And he said he wasn't scared of the people in his cell. He was scared of the people in the other cells yelling shit out. And that's what prison's like, especially when you're new. All the, lifers in there, they test you. They try and scare you shitless. That's prison. Especially in a death camp. So Abrego's in a cell with 25 people for God knows how long. Days and days and days and days. Public pressure builds on this case by the day. Bukele decides, obviously, I got to keep this guy somewhat safe. Let's not put him in the general population with the 100-man per cell torture chambers. We'll just put him in the 25-man torture chamber. And then as the pressure built more, they moved Abrego to a whole nother facility out of CCOT death camp. Mr. Van Hollen, again, you saw the video of Mr. Van Hollen when he first got to El Salvador, and he got straight up denied by the vice president. You can't talk to Abrego today. You can't go to the prison. You can't talk to him next week. You can't visit with him. Nothing. So we all thought he was dead. Why act that way otherwise? The next day, Van Hollen's still in El Salvador. He decides him and a lawyer are going to just drive to CCOT. Fuck it. They're in a foreign country under a dictator's rule. This takes balls to do this. So they drive to the prison. They get within, 15 miles of it or something. CCOT. They get stopped by troops. Not police. Troops. These men could have been executed. We would have never fucking known. The troops tell them, you can't go to CCOT. Fuck off. So they turn around and go back to the hotel. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mr. Van Hollen gets a call at night, I believe, that they're going to bring Abrego right to his hotel. But they had a plan. And this plan was made before they even got there. They were going to have government monitors make suggestions and place some things on some tables. And this is how it went. At first, the government monitors for the Reich in El Salvador wanted to have the interview poolside. Why? Because Mr. Bukele had already come up with a plan before the interview or photo op ever took place. Mr. Bukele was going to put some alcoholic beverages near them, show them poolside, and then say, yeah, look how bad he's being treated in the death camp, in quotes. They're sitting poolside having drinks. Well, they didn't get their wish for poolside. Van Hollen knew what was up and said, yeah, we're not doing that. Fuck off. We're going to do the photo op, in the room sitting down like normal people. Van Hollen could tell what they were trying to do. He explained all this at his press conference today. So they have the meeting, the photo op with Abrego, and the chat with Abrego in the hotel room, and they have a glass of water each in front of them, and they're drinking their beverage. The government monitors grab 2 alcoholic beverages with the sugar around the rim and whatever. Abrego and Van Hollen didn't even touch those drinks. So the government monitor just comes over to the table, puts those drinks down because he had to, because Bukele needed the picture of Abrego in regular clothes, chilling with Van Hollen, drinking some margaritas. Bukele posted about that. Remember, he pointed out how Abrego and Van Hollen were chilling in the room, drinking margaritas. Like, look how poorly treated this guy. Look at him. He's chilling. He's having drinks. Total falsehood, total lie, planned before Abrego even fucking got there. That's why the government monitors put the alleged alcoholic beverages on the table. And I really have to ask you people a question. I mean, I don't know about you. If you're sitting in a third world shithole like El Salvador, run with by a third-rate dictator that has triple the incarceration rate of a normal country, and you're having an interview with a political prisoner that's a very high dispute, and the Reich puts 2 drinks down in front of you out of nowhere, unsolicited, you didn't ask for them. The Reich puts 2 beverages down in front of the political prisoner and a senator from another country who's there, blowing it all wide open. Would you even touch those fucking drinks? I know I would. Because they might pull a Vlad Putin on you. And you might, need to go to the hospital later with some mysterious stomach condition or something. That's why I wouldn't touch those fucking drinks. So it was a nice little trick to throw some alcoholic beverages, or what looked like alcoholic beverages, in front of the 2 men. I just hope they didn't expect them to drink them. Because you can't trust a drink put in front of you by the Reich. Very stupid. But it was necessary for a photo op. This is how calculating and evil these people are. This third-rate dictator hatched a plan where the person he had in the death camp and wouldn't let communicate to anyone outside for a month. He came up with a plan to have them do the interview by the pool, and the government monitor would put a couple drinks on the table so he could post about it later. Again, he got half his plan going. They had the interview in the room, the monitor put the drinks on the table, E.coli posted about it later. This is how evil these people are. This is how far they're willing to go. More about the buses. ICE is reportedly loading people onto buses right now to be imprisoned in El Salvador without a day in court, in violation of a Supreme Court order that includes at least 1 person with temporary protected status and a 19-year-old accused of being in TDA because of a water pistol photo. It's a picture of him holding a water pistol on social media. TDA, I believe, is that Tren de Aragua gang. So again, they're trying to just put people on buses and start shipping people down to the death camp. This is the what the White House was posting today on their official White House Twitter account. And I'm surprised it wasn't done in Sharpie. I really am. Because that's the maturity level we're talking about here. And the White House is saying, fixed it for you, New York Times. Oh, and by the way, Chris Van Hollen, he's not coming back. Gloating about the innocent man they admitted was innocent and shouldn't have been sent. Not coming back. This is real classy stuff here, Rubes. I feel like I'm back in 3rd grade again. And the little kid's saying, na, 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 and another little kid's crying. And unfortunately, that's the maturity level for a lot of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have voted for the Antichrist. So they slashed out things on the New York Times article of, again, a senator trying to help a man in a death camp. I don't get the animosity unless you're of Satan. Unless you're of Satan. So let's see what they did here. Let's see the funny, might as well have drew a mustache on Van Hollen too in pen or Sharpie, right? Senator meets with, and they crossed out wrongly. Oh, that's at the end. They crossed out wrongly. Senator meets with deported, they crossed out Maryland man, MS-13 illegal alien. None of that is proven. And as far as the illegal alien part, a judge said he can stay and you can't ship him back to El Salvador because they'll kill him. And no judge ever ruled or agreed that he's an MS-13 person of any kind. So they crossed out Maryland man and put MS-13 illegal alien in El Salvador, and then they wrote at the end, who is never coming back. Whoever wrote that, unless they repent of it and get out of this Reich thing, that phrase is going to be you because of a place called the Lake. You're going to go and you're never going to come back. Why? Because this. That's somebody's handwriting. Unless they did it digitally on a computer. I would not want my name on that, son. And again, White House verified account. This is the maturity level we've been dealing with from the White House account. A maturity level that reflects you, obviously, because you voted for it. Doge is a Russian op. Yes, Leon is a Russian op. Donnie's a Russian op. The social media things, half the people you've been engaging with for the past 20 years. The talking points you've been spouting like a good death parrot. Russian op. Julian Assange, Russian op. The talking points Alex Jones, Cernovich, and others spread, all from Russia. Donnie literally owned by Russia. Now Doge, again, 15 minutes after Doge is in, all the new accounts they just made, the new login information, all of a sudden Russians have it and they're trying to access with perfect information. I don't need to see anymore. But again, I told you a long time ago they were stealing your information and installing backdoors. I guess you don't really need to install a backdoor if you just give the login info to the Russians, huh? Saves you a step, I guess. Because when you have the correct login information, you can log in anytime you want. No need for a backdoor, right? Right. They're all traitors. They've given the shit to Russia, and it's obvious. And again, I wouldn't believe Jesus Christ if he came down and said, them Doge boys, they did not give that info to Russia. I'd be like, Jesus, you a damn liar. I'm sorry, I'm not stupid. There's only one explanation. And again, that's why the whistleblower got the note on his front door at his house, got the drone footage of him walking his dog, all the different threats and intimidation, stalking, and surveillance they did to him. That's called giving the game away, son. When someone again crosses that threshold and goes those avenues, that means they're guilty of the allegations being made. That's simple. Well, this is the first time we've ever heard this number. Previous reporting suggested it was 6 million. So now it's 15 million of U.S. taxpayer dollars to imprison people in El Salvador without trial. Yes, Van Hollen, in his speech today, mentioned that he asked some people how much this deal between America and El Salvador is for, and from some El Salvadoran officials, I believe he got a figure of 15 million. That wasn't authorized by Congress. So much for 6 million, huh? Now it's 15. But again, Donnie wants to send busloads more prisoners down there, so 15 million makes sense. Van Hollen says he's aware of at least some document reflecting payments from the United States to El Salvador related to the detention facility, which would presumably be discoverable to Abrego Garcia's legal team. There is a $15 million agreement, he says. We aren't 100 days into Donald Trump's second term. Hold on. This is Karl Rove saying this, by the way. We aren't 100 days into Donald Trump's second term, and many Americans are already exhausted. They've had way too much thrown at them. Trump's campaign promise to break inflation has been replaced by a fixation on raising tariffs, which nearly three-quarters of Americans expect to hike prices. Most of the president's revenge attempts will end badly for him. Again, that's not Barack Obama saying that. That's Karl Republican-ass Rove saying that. But again, what really gets people like Rove and Ducey Jr. and all them, the reason why they're getting uppity now is because they losing money in the market because of Donnie directly. So they mad. They knew this whole Donnie thing was a grift of you rubes. They knew they were lying to you this whole time. And then they'd go out for cognac afterwards. They knew what they were doing. What pisses them off, though, they haven't seen some light. They've been grifting you the whole time, telling you exactly what you want to hear to get you mad and keep you sending money and keep you tuned in. What they're mad about is they're losing fat coin in the stock market directly because of Donnie. That's why Rove made this whole entire long statement. Rove doesn't give a fuck what revenge tour Donnie's on. Rove gives a fuck about the money him and his buddies are losing in the market because of Donnie's grift. Again, that's why Ducey Jr., Rove, others are getting uppity now. They losing money. Trump didn't come to drain the swamp. He came to drain the treasury. Let's take a look at that. Look at Donnie Krasnoff with all the money. You think that's a joke, right? No, that's not a joke. You being looted and dismantled. Donnie going to Fort Knox, too. And I know what they're going to say when they get out. When Leon and Donnie come out, or Donnie, the gold's all gone. Yeah, because you stole it. That's why. We all know it's coming. It must have been Biden that stole Hillary Clinton. That'll get the rubes riled up. Say it was Hillary that stole it. We've been lying about her for 40 fucking years. They eat it up with a fucking spoon. Like good rubes. Senator Van Hollen says El Salvador government officials attempted to frame them with drinks of sugar water appearing to be margaritas. He said neither of them drank from the cups, as noted by the salt rims being untouched. I shouldn't be laughing because it's so fucking evil, the lengths that cunt E.coli is willing to go. Again, this was planned before Abrego even showed the fuck up. They were thinking of how they could spin this into something. No, that motherfucker's been in a death camp, okay? And he got kind of special treatment because we've been talking about it. And a senator went there. There's no margaritas for Mr. Garcia. And if the Reich hands you a margarita, you probably wouldn't want to drink it anyway. Senator Van Hollen says Salvadoran representatives at first urged for Van Hollen to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia at the side of the pool. I bet they did. I bet they did. Van Hollen also said the Salvadoran reps placed the drink glasses in front of him and Garcia. They did. Of course they did. I can tell by what E.coli tweeted later. Because it's all about the tweets for these fucking children. Judge orders return of tough student Rumiesa Ozturk from Louisiana to Vermont. Sets bail hearing next month. Well, next month. She's got another month, I guess, in the gulag in Louisiana, unfortunately. But hey, a judge ruled in her favor. That's something, right? This was also posted by the White House. And I think later they took it down. Really classy stuff. Really Christ-like stuff. Because I know you guys are the Jesus party. I know. You all about Jesus and all that. That's the kind of, highbrow material we're getting from the White House Twitter account. You know, the head of our country, they run everything, they're responsible for our safety. That's what they're spending their time on. U.S. Appeals Court rejects Trump administration to bid to strip legal protections from Venezuelan migrants. Well, they were trying to slap a bunch of them on a bus today. I mean, they're just not going to listen to any of this stuff. Garcia's not back. The Supreme Court ordered to start facilitating that. These rulings, I just don't have much faith in them. I'm sorry. Again, we have a right going. This is the Antichrist. He's proving it by the day. He doesn't give a fuck about rulings, unfortunately. This is the lesson into the lengths that President Bukele will go to deceive people about what's going on. And it also shows the lengths Trump will go to. Van Hollen details how the photos appearing to show him in Abrego with margaritas were staged by the government of El Salvador. AIPAC is running ads against Senate Democrat Chris Van Hollen. I mean, you can't make this up. Here's what it looks like. And what does this stand for again? American Israeli something conference, something like that. It's a group of Jews, okay? And they're siding with a person whose claim to fame is death camps, namely Mr. Bukele. And Donnie, who's using your money to send people to the death camps. A Jewish organization, hear this again, is mad and taking a stand against a senator who went down to another country to help someone whose constitutional rights were utterly violated. No due process, no nothing. Sent to a death camp to help get him out and make sure he's okay. This is what a Jewish organization is mad about. Do you see yourself, son? The other Jewish organization that's been siding with Donnie, Netanyahu, and that coalition of Jews in Israel, the right-wing Jews, not all, the right wing, some of the religious Jews as well. Do you realize you're siding with the Nazi Reich? I know you don't care. Here, this Jewish organization is taking a stand against someone who would help them if it were World War II. And if anyone should understand the cause of not siding with the person who runs the death camps, you would think it would be the Jewish community. But no, look where we're at. We've got a good amount of Jewish people in this country that are they have their name on an actual Nazi Reich, complete with concentration camps. Some of the Jews in Israel have aligned themselves with a Nazi movement, a Reich, that is shipping people to foreign countries to go to a concentration camp. I don't know how you reconcile that. It's, again, astounding to watch. I never thought I'd see the Jews or a portion of Jews siding with the Nazis. That's incredible to me. These people took the religion of the people that killed your ancestors, and they carried this religion on through South Africa. Musk, Thale, Donnie carried it on here in America. Donnie's daddy got arrested at a Klan rally. They carried this racism, this religion of extermination, this religion of death, all the way till now. That same religion that killed their ancestors. And they're aligning with it. That's why when they align with it, people, that's why this is so strange. It's supernatural. That's why it doesn't make logical sense. They see it as a means to their ends, which is a temple on the Temple Mount for Israel, and more control of Palestine and more territory, more glory for Israel, more restoration for Israel. Some of that, a tiny bit of that, is noble, and maybe the people deserve the temple part. But the problem is aligning with Nazis to get there, aligning with the devil to get there. That's where you go wrong. And that's what will be your destruction. Because you're aligning with the Antichrist, a portion of the Jewish community I'm talking to. And yeah, you're probably going to get that temple out of it. And then Donnie's going to make it about him. And you'll realize at that moment that you've been utterly betrayed and used to get to that moment. And it's just sad to see Jewish organizations aligning with Nazis and fighting against a man who did a noble thing. He went down to another country, a dangerous country run by a dictator, to help someone in a death camp that the United States admitted should be there. Now we have United members of the press secretary, Miss Bondi, Bukele, all mocking this situation, saying he's never coming home. He'll never be a Maryland father. We're going to keep him in the custody of El Salvador now that you've seen him. Ha 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 ha. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with you? You know you're doing evil. They know they're doing evil. But anyway, a portion of the Jews joining the Nazis. I didn't see this coming, but I've known Donnie and Bibi to be best friends since, like, for the past 10 years. So it's not really a surprise, but if I would have told people back in, let's say, 1947, if I would have told the Jewish community that had just established Israel, one day you're going to side with the Nazis, a whole segment of your population and religious community will side with the Nazis. It'll happen in 2016. It'll happen again in 2024. They would probably laugh. They'd probably hang me for saying that. Look at them now. But I guess you could say that's how far the pendulum has swung away from where they were with the slogan "Never Again" to "Sure, we'll align with you." That's a far swing, isn't it? This is so awful. These people weren't here illegally. They were given humanitarian parole because the Taliban wants them dead. And if they go back, they will almost certainly be in prison or executed. How can anyone defend this? A community of Christian Afghans were brought over here as refugees because they would have been killed in Afghanistan. They're going to be deported. So they can be killed in Afghanistan. That's the Antichrist, son. Van Hollen to the Trump administration, put up in court or shut up. Why did he say that? Because Donnie just lied today again. Called him a terrorist, called him MS-13, called him just everything. So what Mr. Van Hollen was saying, Miss Bondi, Miss Levitt, Donnie, everyone commenting on this from the Reich, telling abject lies that they know are lies that they would never say in a court of law because they have no evidence for it. Van Hollen say, put up your evidence in court or shut the fuck up. And again, the Reich, Miss Levitt, Miss Bondi, Donnie read his handwritten note today. They are, again, they're fighting to keep a man the government admitted shouldn't be there, and they're mocking the situation. They're laughing about it. And they're boasting, he's never coming back. We'll just deport him again. We don't care about that. I'm sorry, I don't know how you be part of that. I don't know how you do that for a living. I don't care how much money they offered me. I have some dignity, son. I could never be up there like Skeletor, mocking this guy they wrongly sent to a death camp. Bondi as well. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Again, I have to ask, what the fuck is wrong with you people that have your name on this? What do we got here? I don't want to read it. We already know about that. This is, I love this when I saw this today. If Fox had covered Jesus's crucifixion, and the banner at the bottom, and I'll show you the picture. It's a Fox News banner, and it says, "Radical leftist cult leader executed." That's exactly what the headline would be. All of you rubes would be seal clapping for it. And you know it. Even though you go to church on Sunday and pretend you give a shit. If Jesus the man were here today, and he were crucified, that's what the banner would say on Fox News. It's such a perfect analogy to what you people have become. And you know, maybe there was some real Jesus at some point in your family, I don't know. And it just kind of got washed down to this. Corporate American GOP white Jesus that hates immigrants, that, you know, people in the highest positions mock people wrongly sent to death camps. Such a distortion of what Jesus is and what you allege to believe. And again, this is the ultimate, I guess, betrayal of your alleged faith. Putting your name on the literal Antichrist. And viewing the true tenets of Jesus Christ as evil, as wrong. Until, you know, a free handout from the government comes to your mailbox. You'll catch that in 3 fucking seconds. Let's look at it. It's beautiful. The crosses are up. The crucifixion. You can just hear the headline being spoken on Fox. By the, what are they called in the morning? Fox and Friends in the morning or something? See them all sitting on the couch in their $8,000 suits trying to just look as polished as they possibly fucking can. As Jesus is on the cross. This person that would have been for handouts and freebies and forgiveness and righteousness and not oligarchy. And they wouldn't be down, he wouldn't be down with orange-faced con men that spout nothing but abominations, and their every breath is a grift or a crime. They wouldn't be down with you people. He wouldn't be MAGA is what I'm trying to say. He wouldn't be one of your people. So how would you view him? As a leftist, Marxist, communist asshole. That's how you would view him, and you know it. I know it. To the core of my being, I know it. Yeah, I've seen what you people have preached. Prosperity gospel. GOP Jesus. Where we don't give handouts except to billionaires. That's you. No free health care. That'd be wrong. No free food. That'd be wrong. No free school lunches, that'd be wrong. AR-15s with 70-round clips on the streets to kill our children. That's right. I don't think Christ would be down with that either. Christ didn't carry a sword. He didn't need one. His tongue was the sword, the two-edged sword. Much more dangerous than any weapon made by man. You know what you are. You know what you believe. You equate capitalism and nationalism and stuff like that to Jesus Christ, when he could have cared less about any of that. Capitalism especially, Jesus wasn't selling t-shirts. He's preaching the gospel, giving people free food, casting out demons, healing people for free. Accepting of everyone, even people the community wanted to stone. Greater wisdom than any prophet I've ever, alleged prophet I've ever seen. And I've read them all, son. You're not going to teach me nothing, no matter what book you pull out your ass. No greater wisdom than let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Never heard nothing wiser than that, spoken by any alleged prophets that are held in such high regard. You would see that crucifixion and you'd clap for it. You would read your little banner on Fox News that talks about the leftist, Marxist, communist, evil man being nailed to the cross, and you'd clap like good seals, just like you did for the Antichrist, just like you do for the Antichrist. Trump officials acknowledge that the letter the administration sent to Harvard was a mistake. What are they seeing? Donnie, again, so why are they backpedaling in the face of Harvard? Because there are a lot of tremendously, powerfully, and rich people that are associated with Harvard, and a lot of them are top-notch lawyers. In other words, Donnie and the boys, Donnie and the Reich, realize they're fucking with an organization that has a shit ton of fucking money and a shit ton of fucking legal power. And they have actual real, smart, intelligent, trained, exceptional lawyers. Donnie has Rudy Giuliani. You know what I mean? Even the legal services he's extorted from some of the major firms, they ain't going to do no real work for him. They're going to do half-ass work. Harvard, on the other hand, they got real lawyers ready to fight that actually have skill and an endless supply of fucking money. In other words, Donnie and the Reich are starting to see it's a fight they might lose, and it might cascade into something else. So they're backing down a little bit. A little bit. And we're at the end. Leon Scum has unfollowed Mr. Bessent, head of the Treasury, like a true 12-year-old. Because that's what Leon does. Like if a right-wing podcaster doesn't want to have his child after 3 conversations on Twitter, he unfollows them and takes their money away. If a woman goes public that she's had his child because Leon stops paying after he begged her not to ever reveal the child and told her to keep it secret and didn't sign the birth certificate, where was I going with that? I'm so tired. That's what Leon does. He unfollows, takes money away, throws a tantrum, acts like a 12-year-old. That's what he's doing with Bessent here. But he's very pissed at Bessent. So He figures he'll do the same thing he does with, like the baby mamas that out him in public because he stops taking their calls and stops sending them money for the children he asked them to have. That's how he handles things. So he handled this it the same way with Mr. Bessent from the Treasury. And again, remember, Leon, as co-chancellor, appointed someone as head of the IRS. And Mr. Bessent found out about it, and he was really pissed. So we went to Donnie and let him know, and Donnie's like, what the fuck? Get rid of that guy. Leon's taken a little too far. I mean, Leon had his kid in here telling me to get my shine box that day. The shit's getting out of hand. So there's a little cat fighting. They're trying to keep Leon on like the little bit of a down low, like he's not really running Doge and involved in micromanaging every aspect of our government, even though he's not an elected official. He's an unelected bureaucrat parasite who leeches contract after contract, also known as welfare. What a day. The big news, in my opinion, is Mr. Van Hollen giving his press conference where he relayed the full details of the schemes of the Reich of El Salvador and what they tried to pull. And he revealed what Abrego had told him. And Abrego said he would like to talk to his wife, stuff like that. Abrego said he's worried about everyone else that might have to go through what he's going through now. And according to Miss Bondi and Miss Levitt and the White House and Mr. Bukele, it doesn't sound like Mr. Garcia's coming back, unfortunately. It's a shame how far these people are willing to go to do evil. And even when they're caught doing evil, they'll spout lie after lie, trying to muddy the waters, muddy a guy's record. Because they illegally took him to a death camp, sent him to a death camp without any due process. And again, people, it's so sad that some of us have to say these things on camera or in print. It's so sad that so many Americans are so dumb and let their bias and let the evil within them blind them. We shouldn't have to say it's wrong to send someone without due process to a death camp. You should know that, son. You should know that, little children, and you should act accordingly. So sad that you can't act accordingly and that you would join that evil. Why? Why is this a major problem in all of our lives, little children? Because they're already talking about taking U.S. prisoners now and shipping them to the death camp with no due process. Next move is you on the street to the death camp with no due process. Once you set that precedent of no due process, it's over for everybody, Rubes. It's over for everyone, little children. And the sad thing is, it's so abominably sad that guys like me, women out there, whoever, need to say these things and write these things in print. You should know it, little children, again, and you should act accordingly. For your own sake, not even for your fellow man. I don't even expect that of you. Lord knows most of you never care about anything unless it comes directly to your doorstep. And don't worry, it will. I promise. The problem is we shouldn't have to tell you these things. You shouldn't exist, is what I mean. And what I mean by that is all of you should have a different attitude. Therefore, no disagreement with this specific situation, at least, should exist. You should be on the other side of it. Why? Because it benefits you. Due process benefits you. It ain't just going to be liberals that didn't support the Reich not getting due process once due process is gone. Do you understand that, little children? No, you don't. And that's why we're in the apocalypse. Until the next episode, have a good, wonderful,